I'd like to welcome you all to another edition of Millionaire Mindset. And today's topic is about Indigenous entrepreneurship, the rise of Indigenous entrepreneurs in 2025 and going into the new year. I want to emphasize the importance of what it's like to be an Indigenous entrepreneur, as well as the importance of having more Indigenous entrepreneurs join the circle or join the queue, if you may. And today joining me is none other than my good friend Brad Williams. He's from the Edmonton area. He's a Chippewa Cree. He's very business oriented and business minded. He's been one of my confidants, and I guess a way of putting it, and also good advisor, good influence in Indigenous business and world-class everything. How you doing, Brad?
Thanks so much, Dallas. Yeah, no, it's great to be here with you today. I know I've been watching podcasts for a few years here. I don't know if I should be talking to you directly or our audience here. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, my name is Brad Williams. I am from the Northwest Territories, and I was born and raised in Yellowknife, and then I grew up in Ottawa, so I got a chance to see firsthand national organizations being built from the ground up, and that's kind of what brought us over there. But that being said, made my roots here in Edmonton. Coming up this December 17th, it'll be 20 years actually since I've been living here in the Edmonton Treaty 6 area, and now have called this place my home. Planted roots here and raised my family here, so this is my new home, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great place to be, and like I said, we've established some roots here in different places of the country, and the Indigenous entrepreneurship is on the rise. So for those of you that are new to my content, please like and share, subscribe to the content if you can. It's simple as 1, 2, 3. We're broadcasting to you today from Kakio Studio Cafe. This is a business that I run here in Edmonton. This is a brand new business. It's in its incubation stage right now, so we're just chilling here, podcasting, waiting for our business license from the city of Edmonton. And we're in compliance with the rules, of course, because just because you're Indigenous doesn't mean you can break the rules. So we know all about that. As Indigenous people, we've been assimilated and colonized, I guess, in a way. But now, with Indigenous entrepreneurship, it's a way to decolonize ourselves in a way, because we're taking old ideas and making them new again. Because if you think about our ancestors, Brad, like we were discussing earlier, our ancestors, at one point in time, our ancestors had to live off the land, right? They had to go out there and hunt. There's no guarantees, right? There's no guarantees of getting that food. There's no guarantees, but our people had successful winning habits of being entrepreneurs anyway, because they went out and they found the food, they found the resources, they found ways to trade with other Indigenous nations. And so in a way, before colonization, our people were entrepreneurs. That's how this country was founded, Canada. If you look at the back of a 5-cent coin, I kid you not, on a 5-cent coin, it tells the story of Canada right there. It all started with a little beaver. And it started with that trade and that relationship between First Nations and European people. And that's what started the fur trade and basically fueled Europe's expansion into what we know today as Canada. And it's been a long 500 years of development and colonization. But we're here now in 2025 with the emergence of Indigenous business, Indigenous entrepreneurship. So where do you stand, Brad, with what do you think about the importance of Indigenous entrepreneurship? How do you feel about that one?
Well, I'd like to say again, Dallas, it's been amazing watching you over the last, I don't know how long I've known you, probably at least a decade, if not more. But yeah, I've definitely seen you in the community doing your thing, producing everything from music to events to cultural expositions, I guess, if you want to call it. And no, pretty proud of you for doing that. And again, like you said, starting out in Canada, I actually want to give a shout out to Aurora Heat.
Aurora Heat?
So they actually do sheared beaver warming inserts for your gloves, your boots, your chest, your pockets. So check out auroraheat.ca. It's family members of ours, and that's a traditional business that they have up in the Northwest Territories. So
That's where it's at, folks.
So entrepreneur, there we go.
Yeah,
Start
yeah.
there. Go check Aurora Heat. Make sure you get your order in before Christmas.
Yeah, but back to the question, what do you think about Indigenous entrepreneurship and why do you think it's important in this day and age, and how do you think it'll help our youth today?
Oh man, entrepreneurship. Again, our family has been in it many generations for sure. Myself personally, I got to see firsthand my grandparents have a tourism business. So I got to see tourism and customers coming from around the globe, staying with our family, immersing in our culture, and then at the same time sharing what we have. And at the time, my grandparents had a bed and breakfast, Captain Ron's bed and breakfast in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. And there's a website, surprisingly. Getting into tech and whatnot, we're kind of learning all of the web stuff. I know you were developing your website today, and I did a lot of that web development back in the early 2000s, but never really stuck with it. And finally now it's coming around full circle. Apparently it's a lot easier to plug and play a website now, and it should take any more than 2 to 15 minutes. And the use of technology now, you can literally go out there and create a website within 15 minutes, and I've actually done it, so.
Yeah, there's a lot to entrepreneurship nowadays. You know, as an entrepreneur, you have to do a little bit of everything. You have to be the jack of all trades, the master of none. You know, you have to know everything, take the blame for everything, and be accountable for everything, all wrapped into one. So it's a lot. You have to have some really tough skin. So like Brad was saying, he comes from a family of entrepreneurs, and it's in his family, and he's been very fortunate. But myself, I did not come from that upbringing. I came from the hood, the ghetto of Edmonton, and the Reds.
Business? Is that what
I came straight up from the hood, man. I came, you know, the welfare office.
So
I
what did
used
that
to go
teach
to.
you? What did that teach you? Growing up like that?
Growing up, it taught me, you know, that I did not want to be poor and broke. It taught me the value of money. It taught me to be resourceful.
You're a hustler. You're a hustler. That teaches hustle, determination. Those are huge skills that are transferable anywhere.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to be poor. I didn't want to ever, like I said, the welfare office is across the alley from this business that I'm now opening here in 2025, Kakio Studio Cafe, with my company, Kakio Productions Incorporated. You can follow us on Facebook. We're launching our website here very soon, so I wanted to share that with you folks. And you know, and Brad here, we're talking tonight about Indigenous entrepreneurship, and you know, he's big into that too. You know, as long as I know Brad, he's always has something to do with finances or economic development, or you know, he's just always in tune with that. You know, and you know, and rightfully so, right?
I'd say so. Yeah. No, it's amazing. Again, just watching you progress, how you've been developing this, and to see you do it firsthand. I was watching again these same video that you're producing from, and I said, you know what, why not put it on tonight? You have the availability, the space here. I don't see why not. Of course, I would help in possibly bumping up production level for you. I think that's definitely what we could do. I've had a couple experiences working with podcasts before, and it's a fun endeavor, and if people are interested in listening to that, and I don't see why not, right, to share that and whatever we have to bring to the world and get out there, I think if we have the tools to do that, we should utilize that.
Yeah, and for those of you out there that are non-Indigenous and you're watching this podcast and you're trying to understand why you guys have been talking about Indigenous entrepreneurship, or what's in it for me, what's important, why is it significant? Well, let me tell you something about Indigenous people in Canada. For one, we're a minority in the overall population, even though we are the first peoples who our ancestors were, and you know, our ancestral heritage and culture and connection has a lot to do with that continuous treaty that we still adhere to in this territory. I can only speak of Treaty 6, that is. Now, with that, we are a minority, and why even more so it's significant and even more important, or even anything at all to be noticed, is that it's very rare for Indigenous businesses to open in public spaces like how we're doing right here. We're actually in the middle of downtown Edmonton, and we're making ourselves visible and known, and we'll definitely be a little bit more high profile than an accounting business, I guess, if you may. We're a studio, so we'll be definitely having a lot more activities here. Like
maybe we can have a live studio audience.
Well, we do right now, Brad. That's
eventually. This obviously.
Well, this is part of it. You know, we'll be doing some live
venues.
Some
people on the have an applause.
Yeah, the people that follow my page, they know my content.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I'm always broadcasting, whether I'm doing a hoop dance show or I'm just jamming on a guitar, or
you have the reach for sure.
I'm billing, or I'm just doing the Peter Santinello thing.
All right, like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure we build that up, right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
share on social media.
For all of those watching. The reason why that I come on here, and you know, whether I know what I'm doing or not, I come on here to share all in good faith. There's no perfect script that I or anybody else, or AI, for example, can come up with. AI can come up with some pretty good stuff nowadays that, you know, you can pretty much write a whole show or write a whole book, even if you wanted, with AI, but then it's not, you know, it's...
Well, you use the tool.
You can use the tool, yeah, but
it has its place, I guess, if you need it to.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, whether you can or you can't, you should, you know, and that's what we are proving tonight. We were struggling trying to get together, and like whether we should do this podcast or not, or...
Well, we don't have much time. I'm trying to do it.
Yeah.
He said it goes live, he puts it on, and I'm here still, so why not? Here I am.
Yeah, why not? You know, like we're here to share our voice and share it in a genuine and authentic way. And that's all we can do here, folks, is we're just talking about entrepreneurship and you know, like whether we know what we're doing or not in life. We just figure it out as we go, right? Sometimes we get overwhelmed by what we don't know, and then it's fear, right? So we just got to get over our fear at times. Like
I tried to jump out of this tonight.
Yeah, he was totally. But
you don't want me? Who am I?
Yeah, and that's all it is, folks. Is we're just coming on here to share a few good words of few words of encouragement to those out there that have dreams. And I'm just really proud to share this dream, especially this time of the season. You know, people are having a hard time, you know, like Christmas or solstice. People are struggling with, you know, there's a lot of people with mental health struggles. There's a lot of people in communities that are struggling with addictions. So I hope that this is a beacon of hope in a way, that we're taking the time to put out a video as well to show people that, you know, anything's possible, dreams can come true. And that's why we're here tonight to share, and that's why I want to talk about and encourage more Indigenous entrepreneurs.
I would say let's give a shout out to the people who are doing well.
Yeah, everybody that's doing well out there, you know.
Keep it up.
Keep being awesome.
right?
Yeah,
Because
you
I
guys-
think not enough people get that. Like, you know, they just go daily grind and, oh, it's another Friday again. That's how I felt. And they're not realizing, hey, like, what a great week.
Yeah, Edmonton's doing really well for
Remind you, it's cold.
Indigenous business overall. I think is doing really awesome in the Edmonton area because even they're starting to name some of the streets after us again. And River Cree's killing it, you know. River Cree's owning like the whole west side pretty much, you know, like, and they're dominating in the casino business. And you have a lot of Indigenous businesses like ours emerging. There's even a couple more in the building I've seen, and there's other Indigenous businesses like that cafe, that restaurant. What's that restaurant called down the road?
Bernadette's.
Edmonton's
Yeah,
fine
dining. So
there's Whiskey Jack Gallery, which is kind of by the Royal Alec Hospital.
I don't know if that's right.
TP Treats is actually here with us too. So TP Treats Indigenous Cuisine is part of the cafe, part of this business. So there's a lot of businesses, and actually Utenau is an Indigenous organization in town here that will be working with some economic development stuff here in the future. But other than that, it's nice to see Indigenous business on the rise, you know, like even the Pansown, Ian Gladue and his company with Native Delights and that whole franchise and you know, beyond. So anyways, folks, we're gonna not take up any more of your time, and Brad here, he's gotta go. He's got a hot date tonight, so I'm not gonna keep him too much longer. I think he's more focused on that than business tonight. Eh?
No comment.
Yeah, he's got uncle vibes. Eh? Okay, well, thanks for tuning in for this edition of Millionaire Mindset. Remember, if you have any type of Indigenousness in you, you're awesome. But even more so, if you have an Indian status card, you're already a millionaire. Eh? That's what I told my daughter a long time ago. That's where Millionaire Mindset came from. Is that our people need to start valuing themselves more. Indigenous people across the Canada, we need to start turning those statistics around and start thinking positively and being proud of who we are again and using that Indigenous identity, connection, inherent rights as leverage for us to be leaders in our own country and experience prosperity nationwide. So, for myself, my good friend here, Brad, Kinanaskumten, hi. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Indigenous entrepreneurship is about building on our own terms. Keep that in mind. Catch you later.